It's time for the NFL Week 3 player props and anytime touchdowns. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are back, baby. NFL Week 3 player props for you. I love this video. Got a lot to get into today. If you are looking for the game bets, that is out now in a video where I give out all the Week 3 trends, leans, etc., etc. I got 4 best game bets as well, and hopefully we can have a good week with those also. But also going to be on Kyle Kerm Show, 11 a.m. Eastern this Sunday, like usual, as we break down all the games leading up to kickoff. So come join us. But any graphics you see in this video, you know where they're from. They are from OUTLIER, the best betting research tool on the market today. If you guys want to try it out, click that link below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get into it, and it is time for a dad joke. So here we go. Why is it a bad idea to iron a 4-leaf clover? Because you shouldn't press your luck. In this video, we're going to recap Thursday Night Football. We weren't able to do that yesterday. It's going to be real quick. And then I'm going to give you my 5 favorite player props for Week 3, and then my 3 favorite anytime touchdown bets for Week 3. And, of course, we'll finish it with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. If you're new to the channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. Well, let's get it rolling, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. A 1-0 day on Thursday Night Football. Went 4-1 in the last 5 primetime bets. We will take it, and this was absolutely sweaty. Bills team total over 30.5. They could have punted at the end. Instead, they kicked a field goal with 20 seconds left to go up 10 and to get their team total at 31. Now, maybe if Prater makes an easier field goal early in the game, we don't sweat it out. Either way, I will take a win. So we are now 15-15. We are literally break even. I mean, down 0.07 units on the season through 2 weeks. Now it's time to take off and win some money this weekend. So that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk some player props. All right, we have our first 1-unit player prop of the season, and it's an under. I love this one. Josh Jacobs, under 78.5 rush yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. So obviously this one's scary when you're taking an under on a guy who has high volume like Josh Jacobs. But let's talk about Jacobs first. He's been limited in practice, questionable with an ankle injury. I hope he plays, but if he doesn't, obviously we just void it. I think he's going to play. He's just taking it easy in practice. He could always re-aggravate it or maybe have a less volume because of it. That's not the reason I'm betting this, though. He has 19 and 23 rush attempts in the first 2 weeks. Yes, that is a lot. But he has not ran the ball well at all. Some is his fault, some is this O-line. They've had a lot of injuries. He's averaging just 3.6 yards per carry, not breaking many runs. Had a long of 15 in week 1 and a long of only 10 yards in week 2. O-line injuries, like I said, are not helping. Banks and Tom on the O-line are both questionable as well. And he is facing the Browns defense. This run defense has been absolutely elite through 2 weeks. Week 1 held Chase Brown to 43 rush yards. Week 2 held the legendary Derrick Henry to 23 yards on 11 carries, guys. That is not easy to do. No run defense has been better. Held their opponents to 2.1 yards per carry, number 1 in the NFL. All other metrics for this defense, how about number 1 in defensive run grade? First in defensive rushing DVOA. This front 7 is getting off blocks. They are just creating an absolute wall at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be tough here. So overall, we have an inefficient runner in Jacobs, who's not 100% right now, facing a top 3 run defense in the Browns, who are, and they're also missing some offensive linemen. I just think this number is way too high. Give me Jacobs under 78.5 rushing yards as my first favorite prop. All right, this second player prop is my other 1-unit play. Give me CeeDee Lamb over 81.5 receiving yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. He's been an absolute beast this season. We know what we're going to do. We haven't done it yet this year. Let's dive into OUTLIER and check out the numbers as to why I like this bet. So here it is. CeeDee Lamb, we're already on 2025. You see this. 110 and 112 receiving yards. I mean, this is a ladder spot. This guy's an absolute monster. Now, we can scroll down and look at some more numbers with OUTLIER as well. And we're going to start with receptions and targets you can look at. So when you go there, you can see he's had 13 and 11 targets. Huge volume. Overall, 16 receptions on those 24 targets. And then you go to average yards per receptions. If you check that out, you got 14.1 yards per catch. I mean, you guys know. This guy makes big chunk plays all over the field. And speaking of that, if you go to longest reception, and if you're someone who likes to bet those, this is actually a good look as well. He has a 32-yard catch in week 1 and a 33-yard catch in week 2. So that's also something to look into for a bet. And then if you scroll over there, you can see some air yard share. He has an insane 50. He had an insane 58% of the air yard share for his team in week 1, 45% in week 2. Just ridiculous volume, big time down the field guy, obviously. And then you can see the insight below this, and this is what Outlier has to offer and everything. Lamb has gone over this in 5 straight games now, so you'd love to see that. And then below that, we see target share on the year. CD Lamb has 28.2% target share this season. In fact, only Malik Neighbors has more total targets than CD Lamb in the entire NFL so far through 2 weeks. Now, if you go over there on the right, you can see matchup. Again, small sample size with just 2 weeks so far, but if you click on versus wide receivers, the Bears, they're ranked 24th in yards allowed to the wide receiver position. Now, back over to the left, and if you scroll down even farther, you can see this is what they added this year. You can see what receivers have gone over their line, under their line versus the Bears already. You can see 5 wide receivers have already gone over their own yards total. St. Brown and Jamison combined for the Lions last week had a ton of yards. I mean, we're talking over 200 receiving yards last week for Detroit. And then now this Bears defense, they are going to be without their top cornerback, Jalen Johnson. They're going to be without cornerback Kyler Gordon. I mean, there's no other DBs that can slow down Lamb. They have struggled all season. They're giving up a lot of passing yards. And then just a quick little ending for CD Lamb, has a solid 12.6 ADOT. Average depth of target, it's way down the field. 3rd most air yards in the entire NFL through 2 weeks. I think we see another huge game here for him. Again, I don't see why 100 plus is not in play, but I'm going to take CD Lamb over 81.5 receiving yards as my second best prop. All right, this third prop is one we did last week and we cashed. Give me Puka Nacua over 6.5 receptions, minus 128 on FanDuel. This could be a half unit play for me here. It is a little juicier, but you know what? I'll go back to the well. I'm surprised that we're even getting a 6.5 here. So like I mentioned last week, Puka's an absolute beast. This season through 2 weeks, 10 and 8 receptions over easily in both games. He has the most receptions in the NFL through 2 weeks. Not bad, huh? 1 more than JSN and 2 more than that man CD Lamb we just talked about. Such an awesome connection with Stafford, as we've mentioned also. He has 18 receptions on 20 targets. That's incredible. Stafford, since last year, he's had a very high completion percentage with Puka Nacua. So, Rams pass catchers. This is what's crazy. This offense, passing offense, is a 2-man show. This is not the Bills. They don't spread the ball around to everyone. Adams has 21 targets. Puka has 20 targets. Guess what the next one is? 4. There's like 3 guys with 4. The next highest for a wide receiver, Tutu Atwell with 2. It is crazy. Volume will absolutely be there this week and every single week. Now, facing the Eagles defense, 13th in receptions allowed to wide receivers so far, so they're average. They also had a super easy matchup versus KC, who doesn't have much other than Hollywood Brown as a receiver right now. But the only stud wide receiver they faced so far this year, CD Lamb. He had 7 receptions for 110 yards. That was with the weather delay where the team didn't even score in the second half. But Puka, in my opinion, is matchup proof. Big Bay does an awesome job at moving him all over the field, so it's not just one, top corner matching up with him. And also they have Devontae Adams as well. But it creates mismatches. The defenses are going to have to kind of adjust to that, and he's going to have some good matchups with number 2, number 3 type corners as well. I got to ride one of the best wide receivers in the league here. And now the only reason it's not a 1-unit play is, sometimes when you watch Eagles games, and they're kind of doing it again this year, they have some long possessions. They have long time of possession. They have the most seconds per play. Which means they are playing at a slug speed, which takes away possessions as well. So I'm just going to play a little safer here at a half unit. But give me Puka over 6.5 receptions as my third favorite prop. All right, this fourth one is a little under the radar. Give me Alec Ayomanor over 35.5 receiving yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. Half unit play for me here. He plays for the Titans, by the way. The rookies look good in the first 2 weeks. The key here is that he's very, very involved. Week 2, only 2 receptions, but he had 7 targets. Week 2, 4 receptions on 6 targets. Yes, 13 total targets through 2 weeks. That's the same amount as guys like Cortland Sutton, Justin Jefferson, Ricky Pearsall. He's right there with Ridley on his team, who has 14 targets. This is a guy who can get this in 1 or 2 catches. And this is why I leaned on yards, because I thought about 4+ catches at like plus 130, but I'm going to go yards here. He has an incredibly high 15.5 ADOT this year. That means average depth of target. He is down the field. He also has 202 total air yards already through 2 weeks. That's good for 16th most in the NFL. He has had 13 and 56 receiving yards in the first 2 weeks. Again, the 13 was his first game ever playing. He still had 7 targets. And those were against 2 really good defenses in the Broncos and the Rams. Now the matchup, he finally gets a little bit easier of a game here. Now he's facing the Colts, and he's playing their first road game here. So we'll see what they're really made of here. But they faced 2 weak pass offenses already in Miami and Denver. They just let the Broncos' number 2 wide receiver, Troy Franklin, go for 89 yards last week. Again, the jury's still out on what we're going to see from this Colts defense this year, as we are going to see them on the road for the first time. But I think we're going to start seeing this number for Alec starting to climb up and up as the season goes along. He is the clear number 2 for this team, and they're going to need to pass because they're usually losing. So that also helps. So give me Alec over 35.5 receiving yards as my 4th best prop. All right, we head out to Sunday Night Football for our 5th prop. Patrick Mahomes over 26.5 rushing yards, minus 115 on DraftKings for a half unit. If you don't know already, Mahomes is using his legs a lot more this season. As you can see by this outlier screenshot, 57 and 66 rush yards in the first 2 weeks. Absolutely crushing this line. Now, some reasons for that. His protection is not very good, and he also doesn't have many weapons. That makes him scramble out of the pocket. Guys aren't open. Pressure's coming. He's talked about it before this season, how he needs to use his legs more, and he is showing it. Offense needs that to happen if they want to move the ball consistently, as they're missing Rashee Rice and other guys. But these rushing props for quarterbacks, they can require some luck. They can be a little hit and miss, kind of like running back receiving props and things like that. But I do like this. Facing the Giants defense, gave up 68 rush yards to Jaden Daniels in week 1. That line was 42.5 for him. And then Dak Prescott had a line of 3.5 rush yards, and he got 17 rush yards. They have a solid front 7. They can get Mahomes out of the pocket, get him moving, lead to some more scrambles. He had 6 and 7 rush attempts in weeks 1 and 2, and those weren't because of kneel downs, because they lost both games. So the volume is there. I just think this number is too low for how well he is using his legs right now. Let's roll with Mahomes and go over 26.5 rush yards. That is my 5th and final player prop, but we are not done yet. Let's talk some TDs. All right, it's time for the KALSHI trade of the day. If you are not on this, you are missing out. This is awesome. It's like stocks, buying, selling contracts, but you can do it on all world events that interest you. You can see up there at the top. I mean, we got climate, economics, sports, whatever it is you want, movies, video games, ratings, things like that. So we're going to do a little KALSHI trade of the day, but that link is below. If you sign up, you get a $20 bonus credit using that link, and it's a ton of fun. And this is federally regulated in all 50 states as well. So we're going to go highest temperature in New York City. You know I like me some temperature and climate bets. Chicago let us down. I missed out by 1 degree last time. But we're going to go highest temperature in New York City. After all my research, we're going to take the 74 to 75 degrees, 54 cents a contract, and I'm just going to throw a couple bucks at it. I got a lot of futures right now tied up in some baseball. I'm waiting for it to come in, but we're going to throw $2 and we're going to bet on it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, if you have not seen KALSHI, it is awesome. We have a lot of fun doing it, and a lot of chances to win some money on all world events. So, and now let's talk some touchdowns. All right, like usual, we got 3 anytime touchdown bets. I only put a quarter unit on these. These are kind of fun betting for me. I'm not parlaying them. They're all single bets. Let's get it rolling. We got Rome Odunze anytime TD plus 145 on Bet365. It's nice to get plus 145 here for a guy who already has 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks. This guy is having a breakout season. He has become the number 1 wide receiver for the Bears. 29.9% target share. Next closest as Zacchaeus at 17.9%. As for red zone targets, Odunze has 3 red zone targets. Only Burden and Zacchaeus have 1 red zone target. And we're also facing the Cowboys here. They just gave up 2 touchdowns to Neighbors. They gave up 1 touchdown to Wan'Dale Robinson. Dallas plays a lot of zone. Caleb Williams has been much better in his short career versus the zone. We have a high total. You guys already know I think this is going to be an absolute shootout, and you like to see that. So Odunze to scores 4th touchdown of the year at plus 145 is my first one. Second one, Jaylen Warren TD for the Steelers, plus 105. He's looked good through 2 weeks. More importantly, he was the clear number 1 running back last week. 14 carries compared to Kenneth Gainwell's 5 carries. Rodgers talked about getting him more involved in the passing game as well. If he wants to score on the ground through the air, I don't care. Just need him to get in. But as for the red zone rush attempts, he has 7 of the team's 8 through 2 weeks. So he is the goal line back. He's the guy they trust. Facing the Patriots, been solid defending the run so far, but they have a lot of touchdown to a running back in both weeks. Achane and I forgot the other one already scored a touchdown in the first 2 games. With him expected to get 4+ targets, 14+ carries, I think they can move the ball a little bit, so I like his chances here at a little over even money. So the third one, we're taking a long shot, guys. Why not, right? Hunter Renfrow, plus 400. He plays for the Carolina Panthers, in case you don't know. But why are we getting 4-1 odds for his touchdown? You know what he did last week? How about scored 2 touchdowns? He is a safety blanket for Bryce Young. Kind of that new Adam Thielen role that they had last year for him. Through 2 weeks, 6 and 9 targets. Only the rookie McMillan has more targets. As for red zone targets, how about a 31.2% red zone target share, the most on the team? I mean, we're getting like the top red zone receiver for the team so far through 2 weeks at 4-1 odds. You guys know he's a shifty wide receiver, tough to defend near the goal line. Facing the Falcons, they've given up 2 receiving touchdowns to Mecca Ibuka in week 1. They didn't give up any in week 2 because J.J. McCarthy was absolutely awful. Obviously, there's more safe touchdown bets out there if you're looking for some, but I want to take a long shot here. This is purely a play on the odds and the opportunities he's getting. So give me Renfro for a touchdown. And that's what I got for my 3 anytime touchdown bets this week and my 5 player props. Like last week, I might have an added play. I added one for Sunday Night Football last week. But if I do, it'll be in the pinned comments below on the website, X, Discord. You know where to find it. So before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, there it is. My 5 favorite player props and 3 anytime TDs. Josh Jacobs under 78.5 rush yards for 1 unit. CeeDee Lamb over 81.5 receiving yards, 1 unit. Puka Nacua over 6.5 receptions for a half unit. Ayo Manor over 35.5 receiving yards for half unit, and Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football over 26.5 rush yards for another half unit. And then we got 3 plus money plays. Odunze plus 145, Warren plus 105, and Hunter Renfro plus 400, all anytime touchdowns. Again, those are a quarter unit each for me. Thank you guys for watching. As always, let's have a great NFL Week 3. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you soon.